What the fuck is self-actualization? That's the question that I asked myself for a long time. Because I encountered the pyramid of Maslow, the pyramid of basic needs, and I always looked at the top of this pyramid and looked at self-actualization. I was like, what the fuck does it even mean? Become the most that one can be. What the fuck does that even mean? And if you are not familiar with the pyramid of Maslow, basically, this psychiatrist made a pyramid of what are the basic needs of human being. So at the bottom of the pyramid, there are the basic or primary needs, which are the physiological and the most natural one, which is the need for air, the need for food, water, to get a shelter, to being able to sleep. So the most physiological, basically make your body work. The second tier is about the safety needs. So after that your body is working, you need a place to keep your body working, all right? So you need personal security, you need to be safe and feel safe in your environment. You need you need employment, you need a job in order to feel like you're contributing to society, and you need a basic net of people in your life. I'm not talking about deep connection. I'm talking about having a family. I'm talking about having some neighborhood. So when you don't feel that much good, you can rely on someone. Basically having shallow connections in your life. Then we have the second tier of needs, which is not more about physiological or primary basic needs. This is more spiritual, more psychological one. This is not about surviving. This is about living well. And I'm talking here about love and belonging. So things like friendship, intimacy, having loving partners, having sexual activity, for example, having a sense of connection with people that you have around, and a sense of esteem, a sense of status, a sense of competence, feeling good in something, being able to recognize yourself into an identity, having a way that people perceive at you, being perceived as someone which is good at what he was doing, okay? And then we have self-actualization, which was a great mystery for me for a long period of time. And what do we need actually? Do we mean, sorry, for self-actualization? Because all of these other needs are pretty clear. We know what it means to have a social net. We need, I hope everyone who's watching this video know what it means to eat food, get water if you're thirsty, or get sleep when you're tired, okay? These are very easy, not easy, but simple to satisfy as needs, while self-actualization is not that immediate to understand. And in the modern world, more and more people have the ability to access at the most basic needs, so we are striving to more and more fulfill of the psychological and spiritual one. So, what it means to be self-actualized. So first of all, being self-actualized for Maslow didn't mean finding this switch moment, this incredible moment when you become blissed and you have infinite joy for forever. This is not how it works. Being self-actualized is an ongoing process that you cultivate day to day with your actions and with your habits. So self-actualization is an attitude more than a switching moment where you become everything you were meant to be. What Maslow meant with becoming self-actualized as a process is becoming fully human. What Maslow meant with becoming fully human was to incarnate the character traits of people that were able to completely express who they were deep on the inside. Basically, are people that understood who they were on the deeper layers on their psyche. Okay, I find a way to express it. Basically, there are people who deeply understood who they are, and they lived accordingly with the values and the kind of people that they were on the inside. In order to find out how to reach self-actualization, Maslow studied different people that he admired. These people were like Albert Einstein, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, and Aldous Huxley, which is the famous writer. And he tried to see what are the common traits, the common characteristics of these people in order to find a formula to self-actualization. And I'm reading a couple of Maslow publication, and I've extracted 5 habits that I used in my life in order to feel more self-actualized, to feel my existence as more meaningful, and that I found also in Maslow readings. And I want to tell to you, and I want to convey to you these findings that I found. The first thing that you need in order to get closer to self-actualization is having constant daily flow experience. I already talked about flow in this channel, and Maslow refers to flow as peak experience, which are moments where you have loss of self and people experiment a deep immersion into the present moment. And during peak experience, a person experiments an ecstatic state of heightened awareness and attention, feeling perfectly aligned with who they are. And I personally I've had peak experiences during judo competitions, during plays that I made for acting, and when I basically challenged myself and overcome what I needed to overcome at the moment. And what Maslow is describing here is an intense state of flow experience, concept that was studied and popularized by the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, which has a very difficult to pronounce name, by the way. And the flow state is a less intense state of peak experiences, but we can have it on a day-to-day basis. Right now, for example, I'm into flow state because I'm talking about a subject that is difficult in a language that is not mine, so I'm very immersed, I'm very focused about what I'm talking about. And this is something I can do on a day-to-day basis in order to be more self-actualized, talking about topics that I care about in front of a camera that other people will see. So it makes me focused into the present moment, and it makes me feel more authentic to what I am. So in order to experience more flow, you gotta do activities that are fun for you, that are challenging, that make you lose track of time, and that make you absorbed into the present moment. Examples of flow state is the thing that I'm doing right now. I'm doing something that is fun, kind of for me, that is challenging because I need to explain concepts. I need to be able to convey to you what I'm trying to say, not only by thinking, but also by expressing it in a way that is entertaining for the camera. And it makes me lose track of time because it's already 10 a.m. and I gotta move because I have later things. I gotta work in the evening. So other examples of flow state are activities like creative arts or sports, for example, things that I also do in my my weekly routine. The second habit is choosing growth over safety. In our day-to-day life, we are forced into a situation where we gotta choose between growth and safety. And of course, all of us, especially you that are reading this, that are watching this kind of content, you want to grow. But we usually choose safety over growth, because growth has a lot of risk involved, and we must face anxiety, we gotta face new problems, we gotta face a lot of shit that we don't want to face, and so we choose comfort instead. We are constantly called to adventure, but we refuse it in order to stay safe. Adventures could be a personal project that we think about but never work on. Maybe we see someone that we find attractive, but we never go to speak to that person because we are afraid of rejection, or we are afraid of whatever consequences we get into our mind. Or there are people that get promotions at a job, but they refuse it because they don't believe they're good enough in order to occupy that position. And every time that you refuse the call, you get farther away from self-actualization. And in order to become self-actualized individuals, we must be able to recognize that fear that we feel inside of us when we hear the calling for an adventure, and act despite of this fear, act despite of this anxiety that we feel. And that also links to the next habit for self-actualization, which is the step number 3. The step number 3 is about learning how to listen to your body. It's about learning how to recognize the emotions, the desires that you feel, and understand the signals that your body is trying to sending to you. Understanding when you like something, when you dislike something, when you want something, when you have an authentic, real, good desire, or when this is a pulsion. For example, when I want to do something creative, when I want to work out, when I want to hang out with a friend, when I want to ask someone out, these are good things. But when I feel the need for, I don't know, a cigarette, when I feel the need for, and I have a craving for something that is actually bad for me, this is also a desire, but it's something that I don't need to follow. So we gotta realize the difference between these two kind of things. We gotta learn to recognize the signals that our body sends to us when we hear, when we see, when we smell or touch, when we interact with the external world. So we can rely more authentically on our own perception and depend less on others' opinion to formulate judgments and choices for our own life. And this also links to the step number 4, which is, when in doubt, say the truth. But you cannot say the truth, because saying the truth means saying what you truly feel on the inside related to what your senses perceive of the outside world. But if you're not able to listen to your body, you will not be able to say the truth, because you will have like numbness of it. Saying the truth, you gotta describe the world as it is. But as I said, it's only possible if you're able to perceive it. And I make a couple of examples because I know it sounds very abstract. Imagine you are invited to dinner and you and your friends are eating something very exotic. Let's say you are eating sushi. And everyone around you is praising, saying, oh, sushi is so good, sushi is so nice, I like it very much. And you maybe taste it and realize that you don't like it, sushi. Despite everyone around you saying the contrary, you realize that what your body tells to you is that you dislike sushi, you don't like that shit. And you're able to tell that confidently and openly because you trust what your the signals that your body sends to you. And I know it might be a silly example, but let's say that's not sushi. Let's say that this is an idea. Let's say that this is a dangerous idea that you deep on your inside believe that is wrong. When you feel that an idea is wrong, when you don't like to adopt something that you hear, this make you able to stand up and say the truth. This is the reason why we need self-actualized people to confront things like totalitarianism. Totalitarian regimes arises because people are unable to perceive that thing as wrong, stand up and saying, hey, the shit is wrong, we shouldn't do that. We need more self-actualized people for that precise reason. Once you're able to train your perception and say the truth of what you're truly feeling, you will be able to see the world as it is and be less influenced by external environment and the perception of other people. And the step number 5 is, once you're able to perceive what you truly want, to perceive the desires that are arising inside of you, you will be able to dedicate yourself to a higher goal. You are able to see what are the things that need to be fixed. You can perceive what you truly want to work on, and by developing the ability to stay in the flow, you can heighten your capacities, you can improve your skill in order to serve this higher goal that you have individuated. And all the people that Maslow admired were occupied with some sort of mission that was beyond them. And they were all aiming at higher and meaningful goal that would lead them into facing challenges, that would lead them to face growth and peak experiences. And if you're interested how to find a goal to dedicate yourself to, I made a video which is called, I believe, How to Stop Living in Autopilot, something like that. So check it on this channel. I'll link that in the description. I hope that you find this video valuable. I'm still trying to digest all of these ideas and to convey them better. So if you're interested into this kind of topic, subscribe to the channel. Hope that this video was useful. Remember to aim upward as always.